In a dramatic escalation of global trade tensions, Trump's announcement of worldwide tariffs has sparked what experts are calling the Great Trade War of our time. Our senior economic analyst brings you the latest developments in this high-stakes showdown. The European Union, initially defiant under Ursula von der Leyen's leadership, performed a strategic retreat. After threatening countermeasures, Brussels made a surprising pivot, offering zero-for-zero tariffs on industrial goods. A Brussels insider noted, "Spending $3 trillion is preferable to prolonged conflict with Trump." Meanwhile, Beijing has taken a different approach. Rather than folding, China has doubled down, matching Trump's 34% tariffs and adding restrictions on rare earth exports. They've targeted approximately 30 U.S. organizations, primarily in the defense sector. But the real wild card might be Canada. Prime Minister Danielle Smith suggested Canada could redirect its crucial oil exports to European and Indian markets. Currently supplying 4 million barrels daily to the U.S., including 700,000 to the Gulf Coast, this shift could create significant supply challenges for American refineries. The ripple effects are already visible. New England gas stations face price hikes of 20–40 cents per gallon. Major European automakers like BMW, Audi, and Mercedes are sounding alarms over increased costs, while U.S. manufacturers face a stark choice: reduce production or shut down. Silicon Valley hasn't escaped unscathed. Tech companies report millions in losses due to export restrictions. As this trade war intensifies, American workers find themselves caught in the crossfire, facing job losses and economic uncertainty. Industry analysts warn this could trigger a broader economic downturn, with some suggesting we're watching the early stages of a global recession. The question remains: will Trump's tariff strategy achieve its goals, or will it backfire, causing lasting damage to the U.S. economy? Breaking news that's shaking the foundations of U.S.-Canadian relations, folks. Today we're diving into what could be the biggest economic showdown North America has seen in decades. I'm talking about Canada's potential oil export redirect that could leave American refineries running on empty. Let me paint this picture for you. Right now, 60% of U.S. oil imports, that's a whopping 4 million barrels daily, come from our neighbors up north. We're not talking about any old oil here. We're talking heavy crude that our Gulf Coast refineries specifically need. It's like a perfect marriage of supply and demand, or at least it was. But here's where things get interesting, listeners. Alberta's Premier Danielle Smith is playing hardball. She's suggesting Canada might just start sending their black gold to Europe instead. Think about that for a second. Our biggest oil supplier threatening to cut us off. This isn't just diplomatic posturing. This is serious business. The numbers tell the story. Alberta alone sends 700,000 barrels daily to the Gulf Coast. If that stops, we're looking at potential gas price spikes of 20–40 cents per gallon, particularly hitting New England hard. And it's not just oil. We're talking about 11,000 gigawatt-hours of electricity annually. But wait, there's more to this economic chess match. Remember Trump's tariffs on steel, dairy, and cars? Well, Canada's counterpunch is targeting American ethanol, a crucial product for our farmers, especially in Iowa. It's a classic tit-for-tat scenario that's putting American agricultural interests in the crosshairs. Now, some might say, we're energy independent, right? Wrong. That's like saying you don't need your coffee in the morning. We all know better. The alternatives? Venezuela's crude or Middle Eastern imports, neither of which match our refineries' needs. This isn't just about energy. It's about the potential collapse of decades' worth of trade relationships. Workers in industrial states are already feeling the pinch, with 62% reporting negative impacts from existing tariffs. Add an oil crisis to that mix, and we're looking at a perfect storm for the U.S. economy. In a dramatic shift in global energy dynamics, Canada has positioned itself as a major player in the international energy market, doubling its oil exports to the European Union. In March 2025, Canada shipped 8 million barrels to EU nations, marking a pivot from U.S.-focused export strategies. Canada's energy portfolio now includes uranium for nuclear reactors, rare minerals for electric vehicles, and clean electricity capacity that could power the entire U.S. grid. As one analyst states, Canada is transforming from a reliable neighbor to a global energy kingmaker. In Washington, the Biden administration faces diplomatic challenges following controversial statements by White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt. Responding to a French legislator's comment about returning the Statue of Liberty, Levitt sparked controversy by declaring, "It's only because of the United States that the French aren't speaking German right now." This gaffe prompted immediate backlash, with critics highlighting France's role in American independence. The situation worsened when Levitt showed misunderstanding of constitutional law, claiming district court judges cannot issue injunctions against presidential executive actions. Adding to the troubles, Levitt made a statement about the Department of Justice fighting law and order instead of upholding it, creating confusion about the administration's stance on justice reform. As Canada continues its energy expansion, these diplomatic missteps in Washington highlight shifting global influence. Energy analysts suggest Canada's newfound leverage could reshape North American energy relationships, forcing the U.S. to reassess its traditional partnerships, including Venezuelan oil imports. The contrast between Canada's energy diplomacy and Washington's communication challenges underscores how energy resources and diplomatic competence increasingly determine global influence. In a stunning development, Fox News analysts laughed in disbelief as Caroline Levitt's defense of Trump's auto tariffs backfired. She claimed American automakers supported the tariffs, immediately proven false by industry leaders. The American Automotive Policy Council countered her assertion, highlighting how tariffs are driving up industry costs. Levitt's visible discomfort on camera became a symbol of the administration's struggle to defend its trade policies. The real bombshell comes from Japan, where Tokyo's response to Trump's 25% tariff threat has escalated into a potential economic showdown. The Japanese government's warning that every option is on the table signals a dramatic shift in U.S.-Japan relations. "We have to protect Japan, but they don't have to protect us," Trump stated, highlighting what he sees as unfair trade agreements. However, this view overlooks crucial facts. Japanese companies employ over 1 million Americans, primarily in manufacturing jobs across the Midwest. The stakes are high. Japan, America's top direct investor for the past 4 years, is now exploring new economic alliances with the EU and Canada. This potential pivot could reshape the global economic landscape. Japan's military strategy shift is also concerning. Tokyo is increasing its defense budget and exploring partnerships with European nations. This could mean billions in lost contracts for American defense companies like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon. The ripple effects could transform Pacific power dynamics. Japan's potential military partnerships with European countries would reduce American influence significantly. Defense analysts warn this could create a vacuum in Pacific security that other regional powers might fill. This situation mirrors tensions seen in other regions, reminiscent of how a former Soviet republic recently realigned its alliances. The pattern suggests a trend of U.S. allies seeking alternative partnerships in response to aggressive trade policies. Good evening. I'm your host, bringing you today's critical developments in national security and international relations. We're looking at a potentially seismic shift in global military alliances that could reshape America's position on the world stage. Breaking news from the Pacific region. Japan's potential reduction in defense cooperation threatens to create a devastating ripple effect for U.S. national security and economic interests. Our analysis shows thousands of American defense industry jobs hanging in the balance as tensions escalate between the longtime allies. The situation is more serious than initially reported. Japan, currently serving as America's primary defensive shield in Asia, may be reconsidering its military partnership with the United States. This comes at a crucial moment when the U.S. faces increasing pressure from China in the region. But there's more to this story. Military experts warn that if Japan steps back, it could trigger a domino effect, pushing other U.S. allies to reconsider their own defense arrangements. This could effectively end decades of American military dominance in key strategic regions. In a lighter but related development, Jamie Foxx has stirred up controversy with his remarkably accurate impression of former President Trump. The impression has gone viral, showcasing Trump's distinctive speaking patterns and mannerisms with uncanny precision. Social media platforms have exploded with comparison videos and memes, with some suggesting Fox should replace Trump at political rallies. The former president, predictably, responded with his characteristic Twitter-style attacks, calling Fox a low-energy actor and labeling the impression as fake news. This response has only fueled more social media engagement, with platforms struggling to keep up with the viral spread of Fox's performance. The contrast between these serious geopolitical shifts and political entertainment highlights the complex nature of modern American leadership challenges. As we continue to monitor these developments, it's clear that both military alliances and public perception play crucial roles in maintaining global influence. In what's becoming another media firestorm, former President Trump's social media reaction to comedian Jamie Foxx's impression has sparked widespread internet celebration and mockery. Trump, notorious for his sensitivity to media criticism, couldn't even spell the actor's name correctly, leading to an avalanche of online reactions. The situation escalated when Trump attempted to counterpunch through social media, falling into his familiar pattern of referencing great people and making peculiar statements about Snoop Dogg and various celebrities. Each response from Trump only seemed to fuel the internet's enthusiasm for Fox's spot-on impersonation. But beyond the social media circus, serious economic concerns are mounting over Trump's aggressive tariff policies. Mark Carney, former Bank of England governor and prominent Canadian political figure, has emerged as a strong voice against these measures. Speaking from Ottawa, Carney delivered a powerful message: "I will reject all attempts to weaken Canada." Economic experts are sounding alarm bells over the proposed universal 20% tariff on all U.S. imports. This would affect an unprecedented $3 trillion worth of goods, dwarfing the current $1 trillion under tariffs. Moody's analysts paint a grim picture if trading partners retaliate. 5.5 million American jobs could be lost, with unemployment potentially jumping to 7%. Goldman Sachs has raised recession probability to 35%, up from 20%, specifically citing these domestic policy decisions. What's particularly concerning is that this economic threat isn't coming from external global crises, but from internal policy choices. The combination of diplomatic tension with allies, particularly Canada, and Wall Street's growing uncertainty, has created a perfect storm. As one analyst noted, this isn't just about trade numbers. It's about the fundamental stability of international economic relationships that have taken decades to build. In a stunning display of global economic tension, major world powers are pushing back against U.S. trade policies. The European Commission's president delivered a stark message, emphasizing Europe's position of strength. "We have the largest single market in the world. We have the power to negotiate and push back." Canada's stance has evolved from warnings to action, with Mark Carney advocating for worker protection while restructuring their economy to reduce U.S. dependency. This shift marks a significant change in North American trade dynamics. Financial markets are showing unprecedented instability. The S&P 500 logged its worst quarter since 2022, with veteran industry leaders expressing deep concern. A Texas production director with 50 years of experience states he's never seen a market this unstable. The White House appears caught in internal chaos. Even hours before major policy announcements, final decisions remain unmade. Economic advisors are juggling multiple options: global tariffs, reciprocal tax models, or EU-specific measures. However, experts warn that attempting to negotiate with the entire world simultaneously is impossible. While a 20% tariff over 10 years could theoretically generate $6 trillion in revenue, Goldman Sachs has already lowered GDP growth forecasts, warning of inflation, rising unemployment, and potential recession. The ripple effects are global. Meanwhile, the entertainment world has turned these serious matters into pointed satire. Jim Carrey and Jimmy Kimmel have created what observers call a death duo of political comedy. Their approach transforms policy criticism into entertainment, with Carrey's theatrical expressions and Kimmel's sharp wit delivering pointed commentary on the administration's decisions. The fusion of political tension and entertainment reflects a broader cultural response to uncertainty. As one commentator noted, when a policy called liberation ends up throwing the entire economy into chaos, the real question is who is truly bound. These developments highlight the complex intersection of global trade, domestic policy, and public discourse in an increasingly uncertain world. In today's analysis of political satire and media commentary, we examine how late-night television has become a battleground for presidential criticism. Jimmy Kimmel has particularly focused on the Trump family dynamic, earning both praise and controversy. The former First Lady, Melania Trump, has become a frequent subject of comedic interpretation. Critics and comedians have highlighted her distant demeanor at public events, with Kimmel comparing her presence to an AI creation from Google's labs. Her trademark oversized sunglasses and reserved stance symbolize what many see as reluctance in her role. The commentary extends beyond personal observations, touching on deeper societal issues. Critics draw parallels between current political challenges and historical struggles, particularly regarding capitalism without conscience. They point to familiar patterns: immigrant prejudice, truth distortion, greed, and power abuse, issues that resonate today. Political satire has evolved significantly. Comedians like Kimmel claim they barely need to embellish their material. Reality provides sufficient content. Trump's presidency, they argue, often resembles a self-writing parody, transforming from entertainment to an object of global scrutiny. The shift in public perception is notable. Where Americans once might have laughed along with Trump's style, there's now a change in the nature of that laughter. It's become less about shared amusement and more about critical commentary on leadership. This evolution in political comedy reflects changes in how Americans process political leadership. Late-night television has expanded beyond entertainment, becoming a platform for political discourse. Shows like Kimmel's serve as both entertainment and public commentary, engaging viewers through humor. The impact of this satirical approach extends beyond entertainment, influencing public discourse and shaping political narratives. The relationship between political leadership and media representation continues to evolve, with comedy playing an increasingly significant role in how Americans understand their political